Hey guys, it's Chris with Drop Dice, and today we are asking the question, what is Blades in the Dark? Hey kid, look what I got. Basically, as creepy as hey kid, look what I got sounds, it kind of leads into who our next gang is. It's the Hawkers. They are your vice dealers. They also work in different types of vices. So while the most common thing would be to think of like drugs, you could also have a group that does information, weapons, selling people, just anything that could be sold, bought, traded in the underworld. That's what your hawkers, do. So if you're interested in that, hawkers are the ones that you want to play. But let's ask the mandatory specific questions. Hawkers have different types of sales territory, which is basically their version of hunting grounds. You can do sale, supply, show of force, or socialize. I've chosen socialize just because I like that one. And the way to gain experience as a group of hawkers is to acquire product, execute a clandestine covert sales, or secure new territory. So the idea is basically we are kind of a weird pseudo lightning punk Breaking Bad kind of group. We want to acquire our supplies, create new product, improve it, and sell it. Let me look at the character sheet here because... In a previous version, one of the ways that you gain experience was to improve your product, but it looks like that has been removed, and it's now just acquire product supply. Which, let's take a look at the hawkers real quick and see if improving the quality does anything anymore. No, it doesn't look like it. That's an interesting change. If you watch the Bloodletters campaign, they gain from improving their product from the previous versions that have been out, and I'm sure that's going to change as the game goes along. So taking a look here, let's jump over to the different claims. We, of course, have turf, which is pretty obvious, but there are some different ones that are available to us as part of being a hawker, which is like personal clothier, which is +1 engagement for social plans. Since I want to socialize, that's probably going to be more my style. So is local graft, which is +2 coin for show force or socialize. Lookouts, informants, help us gather information for scores. Luxury venue is actually pretty cool. You get +1 die on consort and sway on site, which sounds pretty good, especially for socializing. Cover identities, cover operations, surplus caches, +2 product coin for product sale or supply. Vice dens, which is pretty familiar by now. And foreign markets, which is our tier roll minus heat and coin during downtime. So I think probably what I would do is I would go for local graft first, and then I would decide if I want to go for personal clothier or luxury venue next, because all three of those really kind of suit the type of gang that I have in mind, being a social kind of drug dealing gang, or whatever their thing of choice is going to be. Since I haven't decided exactly a name for them, I do want to think about what is the product, who's my supplier, and where do I sell it. I would mark on the map for my sales territory where I do it, but I think that my product is going to be, let's put it down here, weapons. And where I sell it, or where I get my product from, I'm going to say is Scotland. Which already gives me an idea of which gangs I kind of want to be friends with. So, next, I'm kind of going in the order that my brain is processing this gang and how my idea is going. So, this is going to be a little out of order for how we've done it before in the past. I'm going to look at the contacts. And we've got a magistrate, a blue coat, a deal broker, a smuggler, a dilettante, and a gang boss. I like the smuggler since we're talking about getting weapons from Scotland. And let's see here. Next, we'll talk about doing special abilities. And my idea is not getting weapons to help the Skovlan refugees, but like sell special unique weapons that are from Skovlan to nobles that are just wanting extra weapons around their house or wanting to learn a new style of weapon, maybe like a special axe that's from Skovlan. That's kind of my idea here. So Silver Tongues, which is +1 to command, consort, or sway. Accord, which is sometimes friends are as good as territory. You may count up to +3 faction status. You hold as if they are turf. Let me see if the book explains that any better. Okay. You may treat up to 3 +3 faction statuses you hold as if they are turf. So if I had a +3 within a gang, they would count as a turf. So if my status changes, I lose the turf until I become +3 again. And keep in mind, when I'm on my turf and conducting a socialize mission, I get the bonus die, and that's why that's really handy, because then I can basically establish a conglomerate of different gangs that are willing to let me work on their territory, so much so that it would be beneficial to me. Next is the good stuff. Your merchandise is exquisite. The quality of your product is equal to your tier +2. When you deal with a crew or faction, the GM will tell you who among them is hooked on your product. One, a few, many, or all. Ghost Market, which is arcane ritual or hard-won experience. You've discovered how to prepare your products for sale to ghosts and or demons. They do not pay in coin. What do they pay with? High Society, which is take -1 heat during your downtime and +1 die to gather info about the city's elite. That sounds really good for socializing, especially with my idea, so I'm going to click that for now, unless maybe Hooked or Patron sounds better. Patron is the one that we've read before, so I don't think that we're going to go into that one. Hooked is your gang members use your product to add Savage, Unreliable, or Wild Flaw to your gang and give them +1 quality. Right now I don't have any cohorts, so that's not really going to be something I really want to invest in. I think High Society is going to be best, though cohorts would be something I'm going to invest in later on. Hawkers Rigging is 1 carried item concealed, or is concealed and has no load. I really like that, so I'm going to go with that. And Iron Hook Contacts sounds pretty good because those prison scores. Now, talking about the prison scores, let me pull up that sheet real quick here. Or prison claims, I should say. Prison claims, you have a claim chart similar to this one. However, it's a little smaller. It's 4 across and 3 down. But you have stuff like Allied Claim. One of your allies on the inside arranges for their faction to grant you a boon. Take a claim for your crew from a different crew type. You cannot take turf with this claim. Cell block control. Your crew has a cell block under their total control, guards and all. You never take trauma from incarceration. That's actually pretty huge, especially if you plan on cycling your crew members through prison. That's definitely one to get a hold of. That's also one of the harder ones to get a hold of. It's a 2-step away from prison, where you start. So that's probably going to take you a little bit of time to get there. Guard payoff. You claim several Iron Hook prison guards on your payroll. You get +1 die to your tier when your crew is incarcerated. Hard case. Your reputation as a tough inmate bolsters your crew's image in Duskfall. When your crew advances in tier, it costs 2 coins fewer than it normally would. That's actually a pretty cool one too. Hard case is a 2-step away. Sorry, cell block control is a 3-step because you have to get something like guard payoff first, allied claim, and then cell block patrol if you want it the fastest way, following the paths. Whereas hard case, you just have to get smuggling, then hard case. The next one we'll talk about is smuggling then. You arrange smuggling channels inside. You have +2 load while incarcerated, starting from 0 as a prisoner. If you take this claim twice, you will have 4 load while you're in prison serving time. You also have 1 coin in place of a load item for the purposes of bribes or acquiring assets while in prison. You may reset your prison load whenever your crew has downtime. That could actually be really cool for Hawkers. I could find a new market by basically smuggling weapons with me into jail to get rid of my wanted levels. So that's actually really cool. I like smuggling, and yeah, I would probably go smuggling first and then move into like hard case, but I like that a lot. So Iron Hook contacts makes a lot of sense. I chose for my contact for the gang a smuggler, Hosley, because I'm taking stuff from Duskfall, or from Skovlin into Duskfall. So let's go ahead and jump over to our crew one more time here. The ones that I got were Secure and Resolve training for free. Back over to the factions. Let's go ahead and generate those. All right, so thinking about going to our crew creation here, what our relationships are and stuff like that. So we have 2 coins that we could spend. So let's establish our hunting grounds. We have a group that we have disturbed by our presence there. And I'm going to say that the group we've disturbed, since we're in White Crown, is... I'm going to say Ulf Ironborn. While he's a Skovlander, he does not like us, doesn't like us participating in what we're doing. We're basically taking weapons from smuggling groups that could be getting those weapons to his men, so he's kind of against it. So we'll put that there, and then, or sorry, not Ulf, but the Grinders, I think it is. Let me see, factions. Go to Grinders from Skovlin. Let's see, and they want to fill a war treasury. Yeah, these are the rebellious ones, the ones that want to take back Skovlin. So the Grinders is who we're going to affect, not Ulf. And I'm going to say that I get a pay nothing to them -1 status. Next, I will take a look at how my crew upgrades affected it. I'm going to pick one gang that will be affected positively and one gang that will be affected negatively. And looking through here, let's see, what is Ulf's deal? Because I think he's a Skovlander too. A Brutus Skovlander, newly arrived in Duskfall, fighting everyone for turf. Yeah, let's see here. He's just kind of a guy that's building a Bravos group, so I think that Ulf is also going to be a -2, because I'm not sure I want to spend any coin on it just yet. And then for my positive, let's see here. The Foghounds are a group that couriers things back and forth. You know what? I think I'm going to be positive with the Dockers, which would be a 1 normally, but I'm going to spend coin and bump that to a +2. Yeah, so I'm going to have 1 coin by the end of this, because I don't really care what happens with the Ulf. So let's drop us down to 1. We're going to choose who our contact is associated with and do a +1 -1. Our contact was the smuggler, so I'm going to say he is a +1 with the gondoliers, since they're another group that gets people through the city. And he is a -1 with, let's say, the Billhooks, which is kind of a local gang. They don't really have too much to do with Skovlanders, but maybe there's something that got them mixed up with the got him mixed up with the Billhooks at one point. At my option, I could go +1 or +2 -2, and I think I'm going to go ahead and take that option. So my Grinders is going to go up, or Gondoliers will go up to +2, and my Billhooks will go down to -2. Alright, so that is everything for the Hawkers. Hawkers were pretty quick and easy to do, but that's because we're getting more used to the system. As we go along, we are going to talk about some of the rest of the games that I have left here, which is going to be, let me just scroll on up here, the Shadows, then the Smugglers, and that is all of our crews. We do have some advanced playbooks like the Ghost, the Hull, and the Vampire. I'm going to take a little break from doing those for a little while just so that we can let that sit. But when I come back, we'll do the 3 weird books, and I'm probably just going to touch on them. I'm not going to do a whole lot of detail or create characters underneath them because they're more like things that you'd layer on top of an existing character. In fact, you may go Ghost, then go Vampire, or Ghost, then Hull, kind of depending on your story and things like that. Think of them kind of similar to like prestige classes in Dungeons & Dragons. As far as the Hawkers, what they are really good at, the thing that you really want to do for a mode of play for a Hawker is turf. You want to gain turf, and you want to produce your product, and you want to push your product, whatever that is. Basically, gain the reputation of being, badass weapons dealers or drug dealers or whatever it is. They are kind of more of your traditional gang. A lot of operations really work well for them, but socialize is how I built this one to be particularly well adapted to. If you were to do show of force, perhaps maybe doing some missions that are more focused on brutality inside them, or an assault mission would be a little bit better for you, but definitely map control is going to be important for you as a group of Hawkers. My group is also interested in controlling the prison, just because that is something that the Hawkers can do. It's the only gang that we've seen so far that really has a strong way into the prisons. The Bravos kind of do, but they don't benefit as much as the Hawkers do to run things inside the prison, especially if I'm smuggling weapons inside the prison, which could divulge into doing something even bigger and better for my gang, like perhaps maybe the smuggling weapons into the prison and getting a good deal with the Iron Hook, like guards and stuff like that. Essentially what I could do is try and push them towards creating a fighting ring and basically condoning the use of weapons in this specific situation, where Iron Hook can make some money and I can make some money on the side, and maybe that's going to be one of my claims that I get later on, is to have a basically a vice den that is for providing fights for people, like full weapon fights between criminals. As always, guys, feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your 2 recommendations for today are going to be some different options that I just found. I haven't taken a whole lot of time to look into them, but they do have a pretty good following. First one is actually fairly new. It's Britannica. Blades in the Dark is the series name. It just kind of started, so they haven't gotten to the point where they have like a special series name. Just look up Britannica. That's Brittonica for the game. And then the other one that I'd recommend is another Sean Knitter one, which is Thieves' Cant. It is a very short YouTube series. It's only 2 parts long. But the interesting part about that is Sean and the players took some time to create a Thieves' Cant language in game, and so there's a lot of slang that actually shows up inside the game, and it's kind of draws you in hearing the localized conversations and things like that. As always, guys, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you at the gaming table.